They say betrayal hits hardest when it comes from the people you'd never suspect. But I didn't just get stabbed in the back. I got stabbed in the same house I paid rent for. Her name was Tessa. We'd been together 3 years. She wasn't just my girlfriend. She was my calm, my comfort, my someday. And my roommate? Alex. We'd been best friends since college. The kind of guy who'd crash on my couch for weeks, and I'd never ask for rent because that's what brothers do. Or at least, that's what I thought. I started noticing things. Small things at first. Late-night laughs from the kitchen after I'd gone to bed. Texts she'd hide when I walked in. And one morning, I saw a mug on the counter, hers, sitting next to Alex's, both half empty, like they'd been up late sharing secrets that weren't mine to know. I tried to ignore it, told myself I was paranoid. Until one Friday night when I came home early from work. The lights were dim, music was playing softly, and I saw a pair of heels at the door. Her heels, the ones she only wore for me. My stomach dropped. I pushed open Alex's bedroom door. And there they were. Not just tangled in sheets, tangled in betrayal. She gasped. He froze. And for a moment the room went silent except for my heartbeat, pounding like thunder in my ears. Alex tried to speak. "Daniel, it's not what it looks like." I laughed. Because what else do you do when your world becomes a bad joke? Really? Then please, enlighten me. What does it look like? Tessa started crying, saying it was a mistake, that it just happened. But mistakes don't happen behind locked doors, do they? They're planned, hidden, practiced. I walked out without another word. Because the moment I saw them, something in me changed. I didn't want revenge. Not yet. I wanted understanding. And when I didn't get it, that's when the revenge began to right itself. They thought they could move on. But soon they'd realize they'd only moved in to a nightmare. A week later they moved out together. New apartment, new start, or so I thought. I focused on work, trying to rebuild my life. But then something happened that reignited the fire. I got a call from my boss. He said, "Daniel, I just wanted to let you know your friend Alex came by today. He pitched your proposal, said you were okay with it." My proposal, my dream project. Months of work, stolen again. By the same man who stole my girlfriend. I didn't shout, I didn't argue. I just said, "Thank you for letting me know." That night, I sat alone in my apartment, their old room now empty. And I smiled for the first time in weeks. Because I finally saw the pattern. They took from me because I kept giving. And the only way to stop losing was to let them keep taking, until they choked on it. So I called Alex, told him I wanted to bury the hatchet, move on, and celebrate his success. He bought it, easily. He always thought he was the smarter one. Over the next few weeks, I played the perfect friend. I offered to help him refine his stolen project, introducing him to potential investors. But those investors? They were mine. People who knew the truth. And I told them to play along. I made sure every meeting went perfectly, until the final one. The night of the big presentation. He stood there smiling, showing off what he thought was his triumph. And just when he reached the climax of his pitch, the slides stopped working. Because I had replaced his presentation files with something else. A video. Footage from my home security camera. The night he betrayed me, him and Tessa, caught red-handed and red-faced. The room fell silent. He looked at me, pale as a ghost, and I said, "You wanted my project? Fine, but now everyone's seen your biggest production." He thought that was the end. But the real payback hadn't even started yet. The next morning, his investors pulled out. He lost everything. Tessa left him soon after. Not because of guilt, but because she couldn't stand being with someone who had bad luck. Irony has a cruel sense of humor. Weeks later, I got a message from Alex. He said he was sorry, that he'd hit rock bottom. And for the first time, I felt peace, because I didn't have to ruin him. He'd done it himself. But karma wasn't done yet. Remember that apartment they moved into? Yeah, the lease was still under my name. I never took it off. When they left, they broke it without notice. So I contacted the landlord. And guess who was legally responsible for the damages? Me? No. Them. Because I made sure the paperwork reflected every penny they owed. And I forwarded it directly to Alex. That's when I got the message I'd been waiting for. Daniel, please, just stop. I didn't reply, because silence was the only response he deserved. Months later, I presented my real project, the uncorrupted version, to the board. It got approved. And now? I lead the very division he tried to steal from me. Not out of revenge, but because I learned something. Sometimes, the best way to destroy your enemies is to let them destroy themselves. I didn't ruin them. I just handed them the shovel, and they did the digging themselves. What would you have done in my place? Would you expose them, or walk away in silence? Comment "Karma never misses" if you think justice was served. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week, Maya's story will remind you. Sometimes, betrayal doesn't break you. It builds you.